Mentha spicata. Nickname for this plant is knife and fork. This is part 1, and in part 2 I'll be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most identifying characteristics of this plant for identifying purposes. Be sure to watch all of part 1 so that part 2 is understandable. This is a weedy plant. It is somewhat erect. As you see, dense flower spikes are atop the stem. The leaves have a wrinkled appearance. They are lance-shaped, just as the flower spike is, classified as being tapered. The stems are square. The stems may or may not bear bristly hairs. The leaves are opposite of one another. What is typical of this plant is that, again, there would be a flower spike atop the central main stem, and will usually have 2 lateral stems as well, branching off of the main stem. The branches are opposite of one another, just as the leaves are. The flowers can sometimes be white, but usually they will appear to be pink or lavender or lilac in color, or something in between. These flower spikes are 1 to 6 inches long. For the purpose of the mnemonic, notice how the 2 lateral branches and flower spikes occur on this plant. This is where the fork of the nickname knife and fork. This is where the fork is derived from. The knife part of the nickname is derived from the flower spike. Refer to the mnemonic in part 2 for details. There are 4 stamens, and they protrude obviously much higher than the corolla. Corolla is another name, or the botanical name, for the petals here. There are 5 lobes, pointed lobes that is, that occur on the calyx. This is the calyx here. Made flat here in this image. The pistil, there is one. The pistil is split at the tip. Leaves opposite of one another again. Wrinkly appearance. It's a medium green on top and a pale green on the bottom surface of each leaf. The flowers form in rings. These individual rings is what these flower spikes are composed of. The rings here have more space in between. Notice the fork again here. This is a square stem. The leaves have long pointed teeth around the edges or margins, lance-shaped, like the tip of a spear. These lance-shaped leaves can be thin or more broad and fat, like an oval or ovate in shape, as some spear lances are. Pinkish to lavender or lilac in color. Notice again how the stamen obviously protrude from the flower. Rows of flowers form the flower spike. The leaves are 1 to 2.5 inches long and are between 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches across. flowers are tubular in shape. The calyx, the green part of the plant that surrounds the petals or corolla, are also tubular in shape. Pointed out earlier was the fact that each individual flower bears 4 stamens. What is typical of this plant, which is of the mint family, is that, like all mint plants or plants of the mint family, have 2 of the 4 stamens, which are longer than the other 2. The leaves, when they are crushed, have a minty scent. Showing the opposite leaves. The leaves have no leaf stalk, or in this case have a very, very short leaf stalk. These leaves appear to have no leaf stalk at all. The stem, which is again square, grows from a rhizomous root system, which basically means that it crawls along the ground, and it has the tendency to grow roots from the nodes or from the joints where this rhizomous root system or the roots touch the ground. This is a colony of the knife and fork plant. The edible parts of this plant are the leaves. To learn how to prepare this part of the plant, visit survivalplantsmemorycourse.com, and there on the Index of Plants page, click on the Mentha spicata link. Nickname again, knife and fork, and there on the fact sheet you will find a section or wording methods of preparation. This has been part 1, and in part 2 I'll be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant for identifying purposes. Thank you for watching.